Hello, I'm Harvey, host of Franchising Brand Stories.
Hi, I'm Richard Davis, Global Head of ComputerXplorers.
Hi, I'm Stuart Harley. I'm the CEO of ComputerXplorers and Explorer Group.
Fantastic. And welcome to Franchising Brand Stories, brought to you by FranRec, the specialist staff and executive recruiters to the UK franchise industry. And this is a show, and I'm going to do it. This is a show where we get under the hat of some of the top brands in the UK and in the world. So if you're considering buying into a franchise, then this is for you. This should be part of your due diligence. This is where we get to find out what's behind the brands. We get to know the wonderful people that are at the heart of these organizations. And this is to help you choose the right franchise. Now, this is also a live show. Well, it's live if it's somewhere between 5:15 and about 6:05 GMT. So if you are here live, please add a comment and we will try and incorporate it into our chat, and that will be fantastic. So the brand story that we're going to hear today is Computer Explorers with the wonderful Stuart Harley and Richard Davis, or do you prefer Dickie? Can we introduce you as Dickie?
Let's go, Dickie. Everybody knows me by Dickie. Keep the brand on the standard.
I know about that. Absolutely. Well, look, gentlemen, first of all, welcome to Franchising Brand Stories. Great to have you both with us. And we'd like to start with a nice simple question. And I think we're going to go to Stuart for this question. And please correct me if I go to the wrong person. But what is Computer Explorers? Could you explain that to people who have just tuned in? You're a franchisee, you're looking at these different options. You think, oh, what's Computer Explorers? How can I, what's that like? And is it for me?
Fantastic. Thanks for having us to start with as well. So Computer Explorers is a children's technology education brand. We teach children all the essential digital skills, whether that is learning to code, but coding is such a small part of what we do. But the think of the world of technology, it is huge. You could be designers, you could be animators, you can be rocket scientists for whatever anyone wants to be. So it's all about inspiring and bringing children along that journey. The brand will work with children from all kinds of different backgrounds, whether that is in school, after school, holiday camps, evening classes, you name it, we're there.
Thank you very much for that fantastic description. I had to mute because my doorbell went. You can tell it's live, you see. Look, that's a great description of the company and such an important part of children's lives now is technology and computers. It's such a valuable element of their lives. So really important. We recognize the fact that we've got 2 or 3 people who've joined us here live. Fantastic to have Sanjay, Katrina, Newman and Tim Morris with us. So we will bring up your comments throughout the episode. Please keep putting them in there and we will certainly get to them as we go through the episode today. Another question that I wanted to ask you, we're going to go back in time when we get into the main story, but perhaps either of you could sort of explain where you are at today as a business, maybe how many franchisees you got. How could you best describe the business as it is right now?
I mean, the business right now is in a really good place, and this year has been a significant growth and innovation for us, and we're really pleased with the work that our franchise network are providing and the students they're educating. Right now, we're at 34 franchisees in the UK, 1 in Dubai, and 9 franchisees in the US. And we have a good pipeline with 2 for training in November. So we're excited of where we are. And we're looking forward to the next year's growth as we continue to evolve and develop.
Fantastic. Well, look, that answered 2 questions in one. It was 2 for the price of 1, that particular question. So it's great to hear. I mean, 34 franchisees here in the UK, Dubai, USA. You're certainly expanding what you do across the world. So that's fantastic to hear. Let's have a look at the UK particularly, because again, if you're a franchisee and you're thinking about getting involved in the business and you're based in a particular part of the UK, whereabouts can you be found across the UK? Are you from all corners of the UK, or do you specialize in certain regions?
There is definitely a good coverage, although we do have some big gaps. And when you're traveling amongst franchisees, we do pass a lot of motorway, a lot of fields along that journey to pick them up. So we've got a really nice spread across London, and coming down into sort of the Hampshire, Surrey kind of areas. That works really well. Moving across to Dorset is quite well covered. As soon as you hit Somerset, we kind of stop. So we're yet to reach the proper southwest, where I happen to quite like going quite often, so I need a few more excuses. So anyone down that way, love to see you. Moving up into Wales, yeah, that's a nice big hole for us right now, but we will definitely move into that part. And then from Birmingham up through Stoke, Manchester, Yorkshire, Leeds, Essex, Colchester, Hertfordshire, that whole band is quite well covered. And then moving up towards Scotland, we've got one person up there looking after the southwest of Scotland for us.
Fantastic. Well, look, that's been a great introduction to what the brand is, where you're at now, because it's one of the first questions that people are asking when they want to understand what it is that you do, and trying to make their decision as a franchisee. So in case you've just joined us today, this is Franchising Brand Stories, and today we are hearing the brand story behind Computer Explorers, and this season is brought to you by FranRec, specialist staff and executive recruiters for the UK franchise industry. Now, we're about to get into chapter 2, which is where we're going to take you back in time. We're going to jump in the time machine right now, and this is really the part of the show where we're going to encourage our live audience here today to chip in with a question, and ask about elements of the business as we now go back in time and start to look at the real structure. And then towards the end of the show, we're also going to look at where we're going in the future. So let's go to you, Stuart. From your point of view, where did it begin with Computer Explorers? How was your involvement started there, and what was the story? I'm going to take you right back in time now.
My journey started with Computer Explorers back in 2019, in November 2019 to be exact, when I started my training with them. The perfect time to ever consider opening a business was right before everything fell apart. When we're talking about March onwards the following year, brilliant. But we started then with Nigel Topless, who you had a few weeks ago. Fantastic chap. He's taken the brand, and at the time he had 12 franchisees, so it was a great story. He had 12 franchisees. We were a great bunch of people. And that's what really brought me in to start with, was meeting the existing franchisees and how passionate they were. And you could just see that this was an up and coming thing, that it was very much STEM education was the future. And I had a bit of a passion for the technology part. So it really made sense to me. So we jumped in November 2019, started trading January 20, because I decided I wanted Christmas off. It'd be the first year I'd ever done that. So I went, that's it, I'm not doing anything. And we enjoyed Christmas, came into it January 20, and it just took off like nothing I've ever seen. And people ask over and over, what did you do different? This will go back to, and you'll resonate with this. I just talk to people. That's all I ever done. I mean, it is a little bit more complex. There's other stuff we've done, but I just talk to people, anyone I could find about the business. So we rolled round. We then locked down. We had to evolve very quickly, and panic did set in when it was just starting. But very quickly we realised that we could just adapt. So we grew, and the business just kept growing, and it was a great place to be. So you rolled that story round to July 21, in one of the nice gaps we had. An amazing summer that was. Actually, we had some sunshine, so I'm going to go with that one. I was sat in a pub with Nigel. We were having dinner and a drink, and the conversation came up around taking Computer Explorers on. He was wanting to spend time in South Africa, so we took that journey. In November 21, we officially took over the brand, and it was an interesting time. It was the best thing I've ever done. Genuinely, it was having so much fun, not being responsible to anyone else, doing something for me and my family, and helping other people. I love the helping other people achieve their goals part. So that really set in. And the business just needed a new foundation. So we just rebuilt it in the vision that we wanted. We relaunched the brand, we gave it a new breath of life, and we just empowered our franchisees. That's all I've ever wanted to do, was give them the tools to do the job. And we keep doing that over and over. Everything we do is how we can support them to do their bit along that journey. So we bring that round. We've grown nicely. We're now at 34 franchises, we know, so the brand has grown nicely. We see about 34,000 children a week across the franchise network in the UK. And that rolled round to then going, okay, so where are we going? And I'm a bit of a planner. I will look at a long-term plan, but have little goals along the way. And I got into the conversation with Nigel next time we were having a drink in a restaurant. Actually, this is becoming a common thing. I'm gonna have to be careful with this. About where we were going next. We've got this conversation of Call Quick. And then we launched that with the Explorer group, and that officially went through. Well, it officially went through in May, but we publicised it in September of this year. So that kind of brings us, I guess, up to date where we are.
Fantastic. I love that. And you know what? Some great things sometimes happen at a good old British pub, don't they? The conversations. In my local pub, there's a sign up there that says alcohol, because no great stories happen whilst eating a salad. That's what they put in there. But you know what? Yeah, but you know what, it's just great to hear, because actually it's a story of when you're relaxed and you're talking with people and you align with people and you hear their story, that you decide that that's a route that you might go. And it's exactly the same here. What we're trying to do is we're trying to understand what your story is, understand who the characters are, because that helps. If you're a potential franchisee listening right now and hearing this story, it helps align as to what you do, how you act, how you think. So yeah, I love that. I think it's a great story, and thanks for letting us know that. We're going to bring in a few questions from people in a moment. We've had some great questions come in already, actually. But Dickie, can we come to you perhaps on this one as our wonderful global franchising expert here? Franchising, obviously, when you took over the business, it was already in there. But why do you continue to use franchising, and how do you see that as something that is a great model for growth for Computer Explorers?
I think we took the time to look at this journey that Stuart did. We wanted to understand what we were offering and who our audience was. Why did we want to continue franchising? We wanted to offer the opportunity for local business owners to take ownership and develop and combine with local communities about what they can give back, how they can empower the children and their education and development. And it was really important that we understood what the markets were and how we can foster deeper relationships with customers. So it was really important that we continue to build the brand, but actually go back to basics and go through that journey about what we can do differently to ensure a smooth transition when new franchisees come on into different markets, and also understanding the local education authorities and where they are with computer education and the challenges they face. That's why we wanted to be unique in the kind of curriculum that we do and we deliver, and align that with our marketing team. You know, we have a great marketing division that are really, really key on looking at how we can scale that to bigger audiences.
Fantastic. No, great answer to that. And it's important to know why franchising is important to you. You know, as a franchise community, you know, you said there about empowering franchisees. You know, that's a an important thing for people to hear. If you're a prospective franchisee listening to this and thinking about this, giving back to your community, you know, helping a new generation of young people become more empowered in a technological age is a really vital thing to do. You know, this isn't just about a business. This is about an important thing you're doing within communities in the UK, Dubai, USA, and, you know, in many other places. So, you know, thank you so much for letting us know that. It's really important. Let's have a quick look at a few people who have joined us here live. We've got Tim Morris here, and Tim's actually, let's show Tim's comment. Actually, let's see what we make of this one, because it's great to get people involved that are here live. And if you ever watch these episodes, always look to join us here live, because it's about trying to tell the story to you as a franchisee. So, you know, always come in with your questions, and it's great to ask them. Tim's put, is the Computer Explorer model an owner-operated or management franchise? It's a good question, you know, for people who are trying to understand what it is. Perhaps, Stuart, you'd like to take that one.
So traditionally, it always was an owner-operator model. And it was key because the franchisee was so beneficial, so involved in their community, and most of them actually love getting out there and teaching the children. So one of the hardest bits I've had to do is actually start dragging them out of the classroom and say, you know, hey, let's find someone else to do that. But the way that the Southampton, or my franchise, when I took it over business, developed was as a management franchise. I knew it was always going to be more than an owner operator brand. So part of the journey we've been on is instilling that into the franchisees now and going, actually, you can do more than just you running that business. Let's employ a team of people. Let's grow it out. So it's quite new in the journey as how it was up to date in the management side, but absolutely it's possible and it works, and it can work really well.
Mm. Fantastic, fantastic. You know, one of the most powerful things here, if you're a franchisee listening to this, is to really start to understand a little bit about what that journey looks like as a franchisee. When you're, let's say you've made an inquiry, and you're now thinking, well, what are the next steps? What journey does a franchisee go to the point where they've opened their new business with you? Perhaps, Richard, you could take that one.
I'll take that one. We've redefined our process. Whereas there's a lot of brands that would send out, contact them by phone, or send out a brochure or write to them. We've actually taken them on a journey. We've created a portal called Discover My Franchise, and it takes them through different stages. At each stage, we're having a communication and we're building a relationship. We want to understand what they are looking for. What are they looking to achieve? Is their territory available? Their skill sets. We want to know more about their family, but we also want them to go through the portal stage by stage so that we can see how much engagement they're giving to it, how long they're on this page, this video, where they're engaging, and then going through, filling in the basic application, getting through to the NDA stage, and then obviously then they're discussing the financials. But we are having that relationship about what they want to achieve, where are their skill sets, what have they got to bring. You know, we as I said, we're not looking for a specific persona. We're looking for people that are good communicators, that want to be involved in educating the next generation and also play a part in the community. You know, they have to be passionate. They don't have to work in IT. They don't have to work in education. They just have to show a determination and a passion for actually giving back and being part of a young student's journey through technology at different levels and building communities of children that are learning. That's really important for us. And it's a two-way relationship. So we are in contact on a regular basis. I'm speaking to them on every other week, but we're letting them go through the journey at their pace. That's really key for us, for them to show that they're determined and committed to being a franchisee and being part of our brand.
I love that. I think that's a really good description of what someone's going to expect when they go through it. Now, you touched on there, Dickie, about the type of people that you're looking for, and you also spoke a little bit about the fact that you don't have to be some sort of IT expert. It's going to bring me on to the question whether you need to turn it on and off again, but for all IT show fans, and you don't have to be in education. You just have to be passionate about helping people. And you know what? I'm going to bring up a question that we've had from somebody who's here live, because let's expand a little bit on what you said, Dickie. You know, you spoke there about passion and about helping your community. Because again, if you're now a franchisee and you go, okay, I understand what that journey looks like, but who do I have to be? You know, passion was one, engaging with a community. You know, what sort of skills and experience do you look for in those franchisees? Are there any other things to add to that? And that's to either of you anytime.
Yeah, good communicators, building relationships, you know, being recognized and being not afraid to go out and open doors. You know, it's really important that they show us what they're going to bring to the brand to enhance its reputation and its growth, and also how we can deliver the kind of products and services that we offer. We're really passionate about the curriculum that we're creating on a monthly and a weekly basis with our team. And we're also really passionate about our franchisees, how they embrace the community, you know, and share expertise on what's happening in Sheffield to the success they're having in Southampton. So we want them to talk to the franchisees, understand their journeys and their challenges, and get an insight, and then come to us. And I mean, we've had some great presentations. And I know there's a question that's just come up about how have we changed our recruitment strategy. It's about storytelling, and that's with the portal Discover My Franchise, more information on there of why we've changed it to a management and the opportunities of where they can grow. You know, that's different. That comes back to our real strong marketing team on the way they approach that. And Stuart may want to jump in on that.
Yeah, fantastic. Let me just take you back to something, because you did start talking there about the curriculum and obviously what you teach, and technology changes so rapidly. You know, each week it's changing, and it must be really tricky to kind of keep up with that, keep your franchisees up to date with that, make sure that the right stuff is being taught to those fantastic young people who are learning it. How do you keep up with that? How often is that reviewed?
So we've got a group within our network, the Curriculum Advisory Group, we call it, that all the franchisees, we have a WhatsApp community, which is, you know, it was one of the best things we've ever created. Old forums gone. This actually has some life to it, and everyone helps each other at the same time. The amount of questions I see posted on then everyone jumps in is brilliant. But on this, we have a specific section for software development, new courses, things like that. So all the franchisees, while they're out and about, will make recommendations. If they come across something new, they'll see it, they'll drop it in the pot. Then as the Curriculum Advisory Group, which actually I don't sit on, this is led by one of the franchisees.
Oh, fantastic.
And it's a nice different approach, because they will look at all those suggestions and they will come up with ones they feel either there's a gap or something new that they can deal with, something that we feel is missing. And then that will then get brought through to, let's say, production, but being made, which we have a really great chap now writing the curriculum. We've got a brand new way of writing, so that is just going to be rolled out to the franchisees in next month at the conference. They'll see that, they'll be involved in that, and it's going to be just really nice way of absorbing that information.
And I think, Stuart, just on that as well, I think our WhatsApp business group, where they're sharing expertise and ideas to new franchisees, is really important. You know, we've got some great franchisees that are really open to engaging our new franchisees on their journey. But it goes also back to the partnerships we have from our technology providers, understanding the new robotics that are coming in. Spiro, from a robotic point of view, we're obviously their training partner worldwide, but it gives us an insight so our franchisees are ahead of what is coming in and what they can start planning for future classes going down the line for half term and summer classes.
Great, that's fantastic. I want to recognise that we've got a few franchisees here, which is fantastic. Some of your lovely franchisees. So I really want to welcome you to the show. So we've got Computer Explorers Southampton. Welcome to Franchising Brand Stories. You're part of this brand. You're part of the story, and it's fantastic to have you here. And they've put hi guys, and we've got Computer Explorers in Sheffield as well, who have said hello. So it's fantastic to have you there. And I brought up your comment there because they've put there that they love that WhatsApp group. They love, I'm sure, that communication, the fact that you can share things, share concerns, share stories. You know, it's so important when you're growing together as an organization. So it's fantastic to have you here. And Simon has just come in actually with a comment to say, love the franchise community ethos. Absolutely. And it's been highlighted here by the wonderful franchisees that have joined us today, you know, and explaining what happens in that community. It's fantastic. Love it. Let's have a look at something now. I think what I'd like to do now, we've spoken a little bit about what happens in the process of the prospect journey. And we've spoken a little bit about the type of people that you're looking for. How do you go about as a business finding the right people? I mean, do you go to trade exhibitions? Do you encourage people to come to your website? Do you use the portals? Because you trying to find those right people is almost a similar journey as them trying to find you. So I think it's quite important to look at how you go about attracting new franchisees. Either of you can come in on that.
Start with this one. So we have constant debates in the office and amongst the team about the best strategies. But for me, I believe we need to be looking in lots of different pools all the time. So those that are looking at franchising websites already know they have a small interest. So we're looking at that as one journey. We go to a couple of shows each year. That produces great results for us each time, not only for finding people that are interested, but for just brand awareness. The amount of parents that come up and go, how can we get involved, is amazing every single time. But then the digital routes, the meta advertising, we're now starting to reach an audience that don't necessarily know about franchising yet. So there's been a real journey on trying to get that education piece across and go, actually, yeah, I like a bit of that at the same time. That, you know, that's intriguing. And they are much harder, but we do get a steady stream of them, people coming from that community or that group of people we're looking at right now. But, you know, my estimation is that pool has to be 10 times larger. So we just need to keep looking, keep working on it, and keep honing that strategy.
And we're looking outside the box. And I mean, we're redefining our strategy for going forward. We've had a good year. We do have quite a few debates on a daily basis about recruitment and budgets, which is quite interesting because we've been there. We know, we understand it. Everybody has the same kind of challenges across the UK franchise network. And it's a subject that's very, very popular. But I mean, one of the sides that we do really well is our franchisees go and do Carfest, you know, recently, and do a STEM education tent. We're now looking at working with organisations for Haven, Butlands, where children are there and there's an audience of providing STEM education and robotic classes. So parents can go and enjoy a few hours rest. The children can continue to learn and play. But we're also looking at education magazines. How can we reach the parents about these opportunities working from home and become their own business owner? You know, and I mean, one of the biggest products out there that we're seriously going to be working with is Raring to Go with our very good friend Freddie St George. The children's magazine is going into all these schools. They're going to need these kind of classes because we know they can't facilitate that from an education coverage, teacher coverage. So it's opening those doors, but it's about planting those seeds and just building them out slowly with the right messaging and the right content. But as I said, Stuart and I, we're working on the meta and we're doing Google AdWords and the SEO, and we're taking that in-house and we're having some really good results. But you could be spending on every single website. The question is, websites are being diluted because obviously the numbers are down, and obviously franchisees' return of investment is really expensive, as the BFA survey showed recently at the recruitment survey that session that we did this year, and costs are going up. So it's about being more strategic and proactive on our recruitment.
Get it? Love some of those ideas, trying to bring that education piece. I know you're all about education as an entity anyway, but people need to be educated about the fact that franchising is an option. I'm a big advocate and very passionate about bringing franchising as an industry to younger people as well. And you have a business that's perfectly served to do that. Not only are you obviously, as a franchise business, teaching wonderful young people about technology and computers and how they're going to operate those and use them in their lives, but they're also going to realize that it's a franchise business, hopefully. So it's going to educate them on what that is. If you have just joined us today, this is Franchising Brand Stories, and today we are hearing the wonderful story behind ComputerXplorers, and we're exploring that. And this is season 3, and it's brought to you by FranRec, specialist staff and executive recruiters for the UK franchise industry. So let's continue with this wonderful story. And I think what I would like to do now, it's always good to try and build a picture of what the day in the life of a franchisee might look like. You get up in the morning, you've gone through that process. You're now an excited, signed franchisee, and you're at the start of your business journey with you guys. And so perhaps one of you could explain what that typical day looks like in the life of a franchisee.
Well, I'll start with this one, actually. I think that the way that I started, and I'm going to use my live example here, the first thing I did is I got up and I took my kids to school. Now, my previous life, I was gone before 7 in the morning. I'd be home at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, 5, 6 days a week. So for me, that was incredible. And it means you can build your business in a way that suits you at the same time. So me, started with that. That was really special to me, and I enjoyed that. You can then dig into, we get inquiries every single day. So first of all, let's filter your inbox. It's out there. Then planning for the classes. Yeah, we're quite lucky that we can plan almost 3 times a year around the school term, so we can get that bit out of the way nice and quickly. I used to spend my lunch times out in the schools, so I encourage the franchisees to be as much as they can. I used to go and sit there and talk to different teachers at lunchtime and find out what was happening, what connections they've got, what areas they felt they could develop. We were using those differences at the same time. I'm just going to drop one in here. On a Friday morning, I see Sheffield. I know they're listening. I know they go for breakfast every Friday morning. That's their thing. So we can add that as part of it. So well done, Martin, Lisa. I love that bit. But you can have some fun developing the brand and working with it. It's just about being visible. You can really custom this brand, but it's one of those things that the more you put into it, absolutely, the more you're going to get out of it. So networking, speaking to people, and jumping around in the afternoon, and quality control, checking their classes, going out, keeping that relationship live, meeting their staff, because it can be quite isolated for them working out in schools. But moving that on a little bit, then meeting their contacts in the schools and using those opportunities to grow a little bit further.
No, fantastic. No, I love that. And again, I'm loving the fact that you've got such a passionate network of franchisees, and they're joining in with this discussion because, again, as a prospective new franchisee for the business, you want to hear about how existing franchisees are getting on and what they're doing, and a work-life balance. And I'll put the comment up again, but a work-life balance is really, really important. It's important in any franchise business, but it's important in any job, in any life, because if you don't get that balance right, you're not going to feel good. And if you don't feel good in a franchise, if you're not happy, we want happy, successful franchisees as an industry. That's what we want. It's not always a straightforward road, but that's got to be the aim. And a work-life balance, as the fantastic people there in Sheffield have said, is really key and really, really important. So again, thanks so much for coming in with that comment. And again, thanks Stuart for explaining what a day looks like. So let me recap a little bit. So you put your classes into, is this primary schools, secondary schools? Whereabouts does it fit into the curriculum, and what sort of age?
So we start with the age of 3. So we will look at those children that at nursery or preschools are in the year getting ready to go to school. And at that point, we're starting to focus on sort of school readiness and lining up the sequence of events. So sequence, selection, repetition. It's giving them that opportunity to learn and see, the coding is very similar. It doesn't matter if you're getting dressed or coding a piece, it's teaching the children to go, this is the order we get dressed. You put your socks on before you put your trousers, whatever that looks like. We can go into that in detail as much as you like. There, we then progressed right through the primary schools, and more recently, we're working with early secondary up to about year 9. That has been coming through. There's a lot more interest from the older age range. We don't get involved in the GCSE market. That is very, very specialist, and actually a bit dry for what we would do. We want to go out and have fun with the children. We want to let them learn because they've had fun. And in that piece, it's very difficult to do. And I think you need to be a bit more specialist from your technical standpoint to do that at the same time. But they will come to our classes outside of school. So we do have they'll come on Saturdays and the weekends and evenings, and we'll do the fun, engaging, let's grow yourself in that part. It's not as big, but we do have done work with up to 25. So we've done work with 50 pluses. We have different pots in different places. So in order to 3 to 13, 14 is probably our core, but we've been right up and down that age range.
Fantastic. That's really useful to understand, where you sit in that educational piece. And I guess another question that I'm going to ask actually is, so how does a franchisee get that curriculum or get that class into the nursery, into the primary school? Do you have do you help people with that prospecting? Is that something that you encourage people to have that tenacity to, or is it something where you go to a portal and you get the contract and you tender for it? How do you get your stuff into these schools?
There are multiple different pieces to this puzzle, as with anything. So we have a head office program that we field out. We use a system that's made able to do e-shots. We use social media for them. We have a call center in the background. We have lots of different parts from a head office we could do, but by far the most effective method these guys have of growing their business is the grassroots marketing. It is out on the ground. It is being that trusted person within the network. Schools and parents are trusting you with the children that they are educating, or their children at the same time. So they want to meet the person. They want to know who that person is. So our best franchisees, the ones that are most successful, are the ones that are most visible in their communities, whether that's going to local fetes or going and just having lunches in the school and educating, talking to people. That we can't help enough with that. So we give them as much tools as we can to do that, but it's in that local community where they'll have the most success.
I think just jumping in on that, Stuart and Harvey, I think it's really important. There was a question earlier on franchisee marketing, which relates back to that. It's understanding what are the trends out there right now with the schools. What are the needs? What do children need? Is it coding? Is it engineering? Is it mathematics? Is it English? Understanding and listening to the schools and building that relationship, but working on our marketing for the franchisees into those different territories and collecting data, listening to what's going on, and also looking at the system of what's happening in different areas of our franchisees, so that we can get an overall picture of where we can address it and where we need to improve, or where we can add extra support. And that's where we bring in our business development team to obviously work with the franchisees to overcome those challenges, but also to elevate the opportunities that are working in other territories. It's really important from our franchisee marketing team as well.
Fantastic. It's great to hear that the support that you offer. And someone came in here, and I'm conscious on time because it's a fantastic story, but someone came in, and I think it was ComputerXplorers Sheffield, that said about your annual conference as well. We spoke a little bit there, Dickie, about support.
Yeah.
And that's a fantastic way to support one another, everyone getting together, celebrating success together, overcoming challenges together. Is that something that's really important to you guys? That conference and everyone coming together.
100%. It's bringing everybody together because they're a community. They're working in their different territories and they're all building their businesses, but bringing them together for one day and taking them out for dinner in the evening, but sharing ideas and asking for their input. What do they would like to see? What do you think we can do differently? What is working and what other ideas can we develop? It really is a community of our network. And I have to say they are very, very strong as a community and very bonded. But we also want to look at where do we want to be in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. So these ideas now will take time to implement and build up. But we bring in our partners, we bring in our technology partners, our business coaching partners, our accountancy partners, our profit keeper, cash partners, to talk about cost analysis. Where can we save costs and improve the profitability for the franchisees? And we sit there and we break out into breakout sessions with some keynote speakers. It's really important that we take away some call to actions so that we can develop and grow and learn.
No, I love that. And that really highlights some of the support that's on offer there. Stuart, I want to come to you for a couple of things here. Or Dickie, you can both take this. But you've got a big network of fantastic franchisees, and Stuart, you've had experience of being a franchisee and growing up and getting to this position. You must have seen some real life-changing stories, particularly that you're in the market of educating children and empowering children. Not just for your franchisees, but for those children. I'm sure there's lots, but are there any stories that stick out in your minds where you've changed someone's life with franchising?
I would say we've got a franchisee in Hertfordshire. He took our Trailblazer Award last year, by the way, because he was a VP in a school. He's just the most passionate chap you will come across, and just really gets the children. Every time I speak to him, for me, I'm passionate about this brand, but he fires me up because he's always got something new, something exciting that he's bringing in for the children, something different about how he's approaching that class. And so I would say absolutely, Neil, hats off to you. You're a great chap. And there you go. I got it in there for you.
Excellent.
It's Neil and his story and how he gets to spend time with his children now at the same time. It's an absolute game changer for him. So
Love it.
yeah, I'd have to pick on Neil for that one. There's lots of others, but that one jumps out.
Of course, absolutely. Dickie, let's come to you for this one. You've met lots of people in franchising, and you must have met lots of people within the organization. You must have met some real characters. Are there any particular characters that stick out in your mind? I'm sure lots of people have enduring characters, but are there any that come to mind across your journey here?
Wow, it could be all day. I mean, the ones that immediately stand out to mind that have really been great mentor for me that I've learned a lot from, Emily Price, who was at the BFA, Brad Fishman in the US, Sam Ballas, obviously in the UK, John Preston, John Spencer, David Paulson, who I've known for 20 plus years, Tim Morris, we go back so far. There's so many, but this is a community that we're all trying to strive to grow. We want to raise the profile and we want to practice ethical franchising and responsible franchising. We want to be transparent because what we're doing is creating opportunities for people to grow and create their own brands, and so it's by working together we can all grow at the same time. It's about collaboration and communication, ensuring that we're delivering the right message and best practices.
No, love that. I'm gonna, before we move on to the final chapter in a couple of minutes time where we're going to talk about the future, I think I'd like to talk a little bit about how we overcome some of the challenges. Perhaps I can move to you, Stuart, for this one. But if a franchisee has got a bit of a challenge and they come to you, how do you overcome that? Things get busy, things get complicated. It sometimes becomes tricky. What's your ways of helping those franchisees get over those challenges?
Absolutely, we're all in it together. But I have to say, any early day challenges go straight in the WhatsApp community, and I have to say the network are great at sorting them out between helping each other, because I can guarantee someone at that network has come across that challenge before.
Yeah.
So I'd say that community spirit really, really helps in this scenario. But we've got a great head office team. Between us all, we will find the answer. And any one of them can pick up the phone. They can speak to us at any time. There's not, you can't only call us after 3 o'clock or before 10. There's none of that. It doesn't exist. So you've got myself, you've got Dickie, you've got Siobhan, Gemma, Sarah, all of us behind Sandra, behind the scenes that go, actually, we will help, and we will stand there and we will work out a solution together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not, you're never on your own. There is always someone there that is willing to help. And I have to say, that doesn't just relate to our network. That is my experience of the franchising community in general. So there's lots of other franchisors that I can pick up the phone to, and other people within the network and go, or within the franchising world, and go, how do you deal with this? So
Yeah.
that culture is incredible, because previous life that would never have happened.
Absolutely. I
It
mean,
goes back to that famous saying, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You know, that's so important that you have a team around you to support you on your journey. Because at the end of the day, they want to be part of your success. So they want to give you the comfort and the encouragement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to very quickly, before we move on, there was a comment there that said, not been good for a few weeks now. Life is busy lately. Now, look, we talked about challenges there, and I'm sure that from what I've heard today, it's something you can reach out to the team that you've got there in the WhatsApp group and get a great experience back, and call upon some of the experiences of the other franchisees and the franchisors. So fantastic. Again, I want to thank everybody for their comments during this middle section of the show today. I want to now come on to what is going to be the last chapter. And this is now where we're going to get our franchising brands. I've got to go like that because the comments go over my face. But this is where we're going to get our franchising brand stories exclusive. And this is where it would be great to talk about what's happening in the future for Computer Explorers. So perhaps you'd let us know what's coming up in the weeks and months that are to come. This is our exclusive time.
So Computer Explorers, as we are on our growth plan, not just the UK but international, one of the biggest things for us is sticking with the empowerment. That is key to everything, but and trying to ensure some consistency at the same time. So behind the scenes, not only are we launching our brand new curriculum structure and as part of the curriculum centre, so to make life easier for our franchisees, to help train their staff quicker, for them to understand how to deliver the programme in a more efficient way. We're looking to develop, and it's in progress, our instructor portal, so we can help them grow, and help them understand how to build on those things. And lots of our instructors are university students and people from part-time jobs and things like that at the same time. So they do tend to have a life cycle with us at the moment, sort of anywhere between a year and 3-4 years. When their degree's over, then they'll move on and find another path, or wherever their degree was. So we're looking at ways to go, actually, how can we support you become franchisees of the future? Or can we help you develop in other ways that help you support your future at the same time? So there's lots happening behind the scenes on how we can develop our teams and help them, give back to them at the same time.
Fantastic. No, I love that. I've just put up on the screen a QR code that does take people who have joined us here either live or are watching this in the future. Scan that QR code and it will take you to Computer Explorers website, where you can find out lots more details. Before we finish up today and talk about what's going to happen next week, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone who has been here live today, everyone who's going to listen to this in the future. This is for you, about you. It's so that you can discover the stories behind these wonderful brands. I'd love to thank our fantastic guests today, Richard Davis, Dickie Davis, and of course Stuart Harley, for their time and to explain their lovely story behind Computer Explorers. But before I do that, either of you, would you like to offer the people that have listened to this today or are listening in the future any of your final thoughts?
Thank you very much for having us. And honestly, everything comes back to empowerment with me. So anyone that's looking at it, anyone that needs that, that is the one word that I just live by behind the scenes. So if you get any takeaways, stick with that one.
And it's been great on these brand stories reach a huge audience, and shares ideas with our fellow franchise colleagues. It's about collaboration, ensuring that you've got the right collaboration, the right marketing, understanding what you want to achieve and where you want to be. What are your goals? Set them out clearly and go for it. Don't be afraid to invest in a franchise. Franchise is a great viable business.
Love it. Love it. Well, look, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Don't forget, next week on the franchise show, on our sister show, we are coming live from Sky Studios for our second edition live from Sky. And we are going to be discussing how to tell a franchise story. And we've got 3 incredible guests. We have Kurt Edwards from AdSmart from Sky. We've got Francesca DeLacy, who is an expert in producing a television advert. And last but definitely not least, we have my wonderful son, who has studied film at university, and he's going to come on to share his experiences and get involved in this episode. So please join us for that. That will be next Tuesday at 5:15 GMT, 12:15 EST. And join us for Franchising Brand Stories next Thursday at 5:15 when we find out what's under the hat of mini lingos. So you're going to learn some Spanish alongside that as well. So there we go. We are concluded. I hope you've enjoyed the episode today. Thank you again. And until next time, my friends, take very good care. Cheerio.
Thanks very much.
Adios.